If you've spent 5 minutes or more on LinkedIn this year, you've probably seen one of those gurus who claim they've cracked the new algorithm. The gurus will tell you that they've cracked the algorithm. They'll tell you the magic number of comments to leave, the exact time to post, the one type of content that will get 10 times the reach, and then right on cue, they'll try and sell you the secret sauce. For a while, that stuff, because not too long ago, LinkedIn was a machine. It ran on signals. It was a signal and it was worth so much. A comment was a stronger signal. Having a keyword in your post was a signal. And the game was to send the signals, and the algorithm was to work out what was best to show people the most relevant content. We even built playbooks around that idea. The perfect time to post, the 3 hashtags that you should use, the right hook, the right first line. It was the old game. That's not how LinkedIn works anymore. Not anymore. Not with the recent update. I don't know if you guys have heard about the recent update, but it's a big one, okay? The slow incremental tweaks that we were used to are gone. LinkedIn didn't just update the algorithm. It replaced the entire system, replaced the entire brain. Oh, Hazel, you live near Bo, just down the road. How awesome. Hey, look, I've got to go back. I haven't been back there in 20 years. Isn't that terrible? I've got to plan it for next year. The slow incremental tweaks, they're gone. LinkedIn updated the entire system. So we've gone from an assembly line of machine learning models to a single powerful centralized reasoning engine. You've heard me say likes don't pay the bills. Well, now they don't even get you any reach either. So there you go. The old game was about sending signals. The new game is about having conversations, but it's also about credibility, because you can't hack a system that thinks more like a human than a machine, can you? Because that's what happens with Google and Facebook and TikTok, doesn't it? The algorithm gets smarter, gets more competitive, and all of the people that are trying to hack the algorithm, all of a sudden they can't, and they actually have to be genuinely good at what they do and give the users the same objective as the platform, a good experience, and keep them on there longer. And that means this isn't just another algorithm update, it's a total ecosystem shift. LinkedIn runs on a different fuel now. It's a different fuel, it's language. But the good news is, if we understand how this new brain thinks, what it values, what it rewards, and how it reads, then we can get a competitive edge. But I can tell you right now, 98% of people are going to be throwing their hands up and saying, the reach is dead on LinkedIn. Listen, if you look at the news, you see 2 posts, and then you see an ad, and then you see 2 posts, and then an ad. As long as that hasn't changed, there's still the same amount of real estate available. So the reach has not dropped. What's happened is either A, your reach has dropped, or B, it's just become more competitive. Therefore, you've got to share the real estate with more people. Does that make sense? And look, both is happening. Both is happening right now. I've read the most relevant reports, both from LinkedIn and the unofficial ones as well. So I've learned how to communicate effectively, and I've got to update all of our client strategies. So that's what tonight's episode is about, right? We're going to get straight into it. We're moving from crafting signals for a machine to crafting a compelling narrative for an intelligent reader. So let's pull back the curtain, because you know how the LinkedIn ecosystem works. You stop chasing views, you start commanding attention. Legends, welcome back to Monday Night Live. This is your weekly dose of LinkedIn secrets, marketing moves, and real talk about what's really going on in business. If you're new here, I'm Nathaniel Bibby. I've generated over $500 million in sales through Bibby Media Group. Through LinkedIn strategies alone, we've been doing this for 11 years now, trained over 40,000 professionals on LinkedIn. This is all I do every day, this and hang out with my social media. Algorithms have changed forever. What used to be about keywords, time zones, hashtags, it's about comprehension, reasoning, and meaning, because AI is not just, it's obviously going to be training algorithms now. So the old LinkedIn algorithm can account it. It didn't really understand you. It just tallied up numbers. It looked at things like how many comments you got, how many keywords you used, and how senior your connections were, how many connections you had, how much engagement you were getting was a big one. Dwell time was like the most latest thing that's closest to what we have actually right now. Every single thing you did, every click, every post became a line item in a spreadsheet. It's just data. So I'm just explaining the context, and then I'm going to tell you, what that means for you. But this system it didn't read your content and comprehend it. Like if you wrote anything creative in your headline, the chances are it wouldn't understand it unless it was a familiar keyword. It just counted these signals, okay? And they passed through a chain of similar models, and it was efficient, but it was blind. And that's why you had all these people that could hack the algorithm. You could do this on Google 20 years ago. I used to hack Google and get websites immediately to the top of Google just by tricking Google, right? it would used to do it on backlinks. So I used to get all these backlinks. And then I learned when I got slammed onto page 100 of Google, when there was an algorithm update, that you can't trick the algorithm, because the algorithm's going to get smarter, and eventually it's going to get so smart that it's going to replicate exactly what a human would want. So align your objective with the platform. Okay, so the old world, that's done. We're in the world of AI now, and it's not going back. I can assure you the world has changed. And that means a lot more than just ChatGPT or whatever other platform you use, writing love letters for you or arguing with your wife about who does the dishes. It means it's a good job. I laugh at my own jokes, especially since I can't hear you guys. It means this stuff runs the back end of the platform that runs your business. So the new algorithm, they call the update 360 Brew. I don't know where they get these names from. It sounds like a good name for a beer, if you ask me. But look, it's much more than a cool name. Like, you think of it like a reasoning engine. It doesn't just process data, it understands. It reads your post, your tone, your intent, cross-references your credibility, your history, your comments, your network, and it makes nuanced predictions about how people will react. So you can see how people are going to mess this up. And to be, I'm telling you about this stuff. Most of the biggest creators don't even know what's going on. Likes don't pay the bills, and now they don't even buy you reach. And by the way, if you are in Australia, I don't actually know if it's fully rolled out worldwide yet. I know it's been rolled out in the US and it's being rolled out worldwide. Sometimes it takes a couple of months for this update to reach everywhere, just because they've got to manage glitches and everything, so they don't do everyone at once. I've been testing and getting mixed results in the last couple of weeks, so I think it's probably like on its way here or partly here, but it's obvious when you read through what the engineers have done, what needs to happen. Okay, so what does this mean for you? Okay, what does this mean for you? It means the game has changed from metrics to meaning. Your reach isn't determined by how many times you post or how many likes you get. It's determined by how clearly you express your ideas in plain human language and start real conversations. We're about to get swamped by, do you know how easy it is for people to create content? Like, once everyone understands what AI can do, and it's just going to keep updating, right? There's not going to be, you're not going to log on and have to compete with 3,000 people in your niche or even 300 people in your niche. It's going to be, so you're just going to be in a sea of creators trying to do the same thing. So it's really important that you set the foundation right now, because content is the form of marketing now. When people talk about marketing these days, it's assumed that people are talking about content. That's how huge it is right now. It's not like something that, like 5 years ago, I had to convince people to use social media and produce content. You don't have to do that anymore, do you? Every business is now taking it seriously. They think to themselves, AI can do it, the robot. The algorithm doesn't want that, because it's an AI bot as well. So it's not like you can be smarter than the AI bot by using AI. You write like a person with a story, with a voice, a perspective, the algorithm will know exactly where you belong. It'll actually get to know you. It's not going to get to know you if you just do AI regurgitated stuff. We're going to talk about personal branding very shortly. That's very important. Okay, so look, the better you communicate, the smarter your LinkedIn's brain becomes at recommending you. That's why you have to stay in your lane. If you're Australian, then stay in your lane. I have got a problem with my profile. I need to update the entire thing. Every single one of my clients' profiles need to be updated, but mine's very long. And because if it's a human looking at my profile, all of the history I have with all of these like jobs that have got keywords jammed into the headline, it doesn't give much to the AI to tell people what my actual experience is. Like, there's so many things. Like, I'm a blogger at the Social Media Examiner. I was a trainer at the Digital Marketing Institute. All these roles. I need to actually see what my title has been at each of these jobs, and anything irrelevant. By the way, I used to work in real estate. How long ago was that now? 16 years ago. Anything that's irrelevant, I'm just going to take out of there, because it needs to see a clear career trajectory in marketing. And that's what I need to show it. So anything that's in there just because it's in there, because it would be in a resume, or just because, I don't know, you feel like you have to be historically correct. Like, I just need to get rid of it, because I need to be training the AI what I communicate about. If this thing reads like a person, you need to talk to it like a person. That's probably the best way to put it. So let's break down exactly how this thing works. Now, I am going to get a little bit technical right now. Not as technical as I could have been, but I just think to truly understand the system, you can't just you have to look at the engine. You've got to understand the assembly line to some degree. I'm not going to go into full detail, but LinkedIn's AI, its algorithm, runs on 3 parts. And by the way, it's evolving on its own because the first part is build. So it's constantly building and innovating new parts of the algorithm. To give you an idea, when they updated one small thing in the algorithm before, it would literally take days for them to implement it throughout the world. With this new system, they can do it within seconds. So what happens is changes happen faster. So if change is happening faster, that means you've always got a chance to reinvent yourself. That's for sure. Obviously, it helps once you've trained the system. Anyway, so it's got that build phase, then it's got the think phase, and then it's got the run phase. I call it the factory, the engine, and the operating system. And this is how LinkedIn refers to it as well. They do have more technical terms, but let's just stick to the factory, the engine, and the operating system. So the factory is where the AI models are built, trained, and improved, the systems workshop. The engine is where the reasoning happens. It's 360 brew. It analyzes your words, your tone, your audience, and decides where your post fits. It'll be able to tell if you've written it by AI, guys. You can't just regurgitate AI stuff. You use it, yes. But if you're using social media and your content to communicate with your customers, you're doing it to build trust. You can't, if you're going to build trust by using a robot, it's not very authentic, is it? And the algorithm knows this. So don't outsource that part to AI. I mean, you can get your ideas and you can get it to check some of your work, but the bits that are your voice are the last thing you want AI to change. Like if you're plugging something into AI, don't let it change the bits that you wrote, especially if you wrote them like you speak them, because that's really the goal. The goal is not to write like a perfect English prose. The factory rewards consistency. It's learning faster than ever. So the algorithm that you had last month is gone. It's constantly retraining, evolving. This means that your hacks, they just won't work anymore. Habits will. If you post once in a blue moon, the algorithm will forget who you are. And it's got so many choices now of who to show in the newsfeed. Why would it bother? Consistency is very important. You've got to get started with consistency now. But if you show up and you comment, engage, and post, it learns your patterns. It doesn't want to just see somebody posting and then leaving. It wants to see you engaging at the party. So you've got to be active on LinkedIn. It means spending time on there. And it will learn what you talk about, who you connect with, what you're interested in. And that's when it starts distributing your content faster. And I swear, if you get this right, I'm pretty certain there's only going to be less than 1% of people that actually know what's going on. You can get a huge competitive edge. You think about all the mistakes you could make here, right? I'm going to go into the profile very shortly, but if you make mistakes on your profile, it doesn't matter how many followers you have. The engine is smarter. What does the engine reward? Clarity. It doesn't care how polished you look. It cares how clearly you communicate. If your post sounds like it could have been written by anyone, it gets buried. So you can't just regurgitate stuff it's heard before. But if it sounds like you and it's raw and it's human and it's distinct, then it will get pushed because it's unique. And let's talk about what doesn't work anymore. Posting generic, just regurgitated stuff with no story, no engagement bait. I don't know if you know what engagement bait is, but it's, hey, I've just written the 120 LinkedIn posts that go viral. Comment yes, please below to get access to this. I think I may have created that like 5 years ago. No one else was doing it. And I used it to fill my email database. But the problem is now everyone's doing it. And it is engagement bait, really. I didn't actually know it was engagement bait at the time. I thought it was a really clever idea. And it worked really well. And I did deliver value. But now that everyone's doing it, I've stopped doing it. And I will just give the thing away. But a lot of people that do that, they're not actually even sending you what they're offering. So you can see why they call it engagement bait. Over-polished AI-written stuff is just getting filtered out. If it's not happening already, it just means it hasn't rolled out to your city yet. It will be filtered out. The AI can tell stuff that's written by AI, if that makes sense. I expect that there will be a badge next to a post when it's written by AI. At some point. There already is if you use an AI image, and I think that it will happen with text as well. That's my prediction. I don't know, but that's what I think is going to happen. If you ghost people that comment on your, as in you don't reply to them, you're not going to have a very good reputation with this AI. And if you don't try new formats, you may as well be posting on MySpace or ICQ. I don't know if you post on ICQ, do you? They have posting back then. I don't know if any of you remember ICQ or MySpace. But the engine's ruthless. So it knows if your post sparks real conversation or not. It knows where people care or not. Like it's just, you can't trick the system. Like it knows. You've got to write it for people. It knows when your content contributes or when it clogs the feed. And the operating system, it's alive. It's updating daily. It rewards adaptation and punishes laziness. So creators You need to be creative. Stop scheduling out 30 cookie cutter posts for the next month. Stop keyword stuffing your hashtags. Stop spamming. You're training the machine to ignore you. Track what's working. Double down on what resonates. Mix up your formats. Treat every post like a conversation, not a broadcast. The creators winning in 2026 are the ones that crack the code. They're the ones that keep evolving and communicating and starting conversations. Now, let's zoom out. What's happening here isn't just a LinkedIn thing. We've seen this before, and it's always easy to predict what's going to happen on LinkedIn because you just have to look at Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. They're generally just a little bit further ahead of LinkedIn. And traditionally, it was like 2 or 3 years ahead. Now, the gap's shortened quite a lot. So you remember Facebook, it started with connection and then it turned into like an ad platform pretty much. Instagram started with creativity and then became a highlight reel for hustle culture and influencers. So TikTok started with kids and authenticity. Now it's an army of people yelling, watch till the end into a ring light. They're saturated, right? They're saturated, but they've got AI working for them. Every platform starts human, then the hacks take over. And once the hacks win, the users start to leave. That's when the algorithm has to get smarter. LinkedIn saw it coming and they flipped the switch before it was too late. So it's not punishing any creators. Your reach isn't going down because LinkedIn hates you and it just wants you to pay for advertising. It's protecting the platform. LinkedIn's actually keeping the users on the platform better than a lot of the creators are, which is what they should be doing, really, when you think about it, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? It's their job. Like, that's what they do full time. They should know how to do it better than individuals. But that's the real story. Social media is entering a new era. We're past the hack era, the post template, the post guru. For the first time, the algorithm doesn't just reward attention, it rewards depth. So when I say you've got to be good, yes, you've got to be good, but you don't need to know all of the hacks and the technology behind everything. You don't need to do all that. AI can do it. Everyone can do that. That's the easy part. What's the hard part? Being authentic and building a personal brand. So everyone's, where's the opportunity in AI? Where's the business opportunity? Start the next AI thing. Use AI to create 100 pieces of content. The opportunity is right in front of you. Is to not use it because everyone's going to be using it in a minute. It's about whether your content means something. So if you post every day but saying nothing, you'll disappear. If you post once a week but make people think, then you'll explode. It's not about being everywhere. It's about being worth listening to. I should write that down. ICQs before storms time. Let's talk about the big one. This is really important, guys. Pay attention. Don't leave during this part. Quality versus quantity. For years, everyone told you post more. Gary V in front of a dumpster. Post more content, volume. And for a while, that was true. I mean, to be honest, if you don't know what works, you need to post more content because you need to figure out what your lane is. The feed was hungry before. There weren't enough creators to fill it. So even average content got some traction, but we're entering the oversupply era. The baseline of the standard content has risen substantially across all platforms, but on particularly, like there wasn't a huge amount of talent on the platform 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it started to move on, but now it's getting to a point where it's not far off the oversupply era. But you can differentiate yourself by focusing on the baseline has risen. Everyone's posting, well, not everyone, but a lot more people. AI is making it even noisier. It's even easier to post real high quality stuff. I've seen some of the stuff AI is doing. It's fantastic. Like it's really good. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but the content is great, but there's no human connection behind it. So quantity without quality doesn't cut it anymore because you can't be doing what everyone else is doing. It's the same with if 90% of businesses fail in 6 years' time, if you do what everyone else is doing, you're in a lot of trouble because most of them are going under. And how many content creators, people posting on LinkedIn, do you think are actually making money out of it? It must be like individuals, it must be like less than 5%. In terms of businesses, I would be surprised if it's over 50%. Isn't that interesting though, that they all have to do it? But then there's a difference between doing it and doing it well. And I think we're just moving to a stage where most people have been doing it poorly, right? And I think that's just changing. But you can't out-volume mediocrity. You can only outthink it. In this new world, quality is the filter. And when I say quality, I just mean more human, more authentic. Like the first thing you should do is write down we've all got stories. Some of us just don't think they're worth hearing, but write them all down. I mean, you don't have to write them word for word, but just at least know what they are and then categorize them because you might want to refer back to them. I mean, I should do this as well. I speak a lot. This is one of the reasons I do my live is to keep these stories fresh and to keep telling stories. Because when I get called to do a keynote, then I know I can draw on them. But I should really have an index full of them. So if your content isn't at least 7 out of 10, it's gonna fail. The viewer's eye is trained. They've seen too much good stuff to tolerate average. But if you're not posting at all, don't let perfection get in the way of that, because like it is a way to, it's better to get something out there than not get anything out there, especially if you're still developing your skill. And that's an important point. I should mention that before I go on. The only way to get better at posting content is to post more content. So if you're on that stage where you don't actually know if that's going to go viral before you post it, then you should be posting more so you know what's going to go well. But like these days, if I can tell how well a post is going to do when I write it. I don't get surprised anymore. I can't remember the last time I got surprised by a post going viral. So it's just so you just got to post more. When you can do one high quality piece a day, then this is what guys with teams of 10 people do. The algorithm doesn't need more content. It just doesn't. But it does need better content because there's so much rubbish out there. The days of filler volume are down. It's not like when you post, everyone's not going to see it that you're connected to. That's not how it works. Not anymore. People will see it that you're having conversations with, that you're actually talking to in the DMs and you're commenting on their stuff, and they'll see it. So it's about relationships, which really is what like it should be about in the first place. I mean, the whole point of like trying to win a popularity contest has nothing to do with business when you think about it. So this is what happens. It's like supply and demand. So when the content supply explodes, attention becomes scarce. The only way to cut through is to build what I call a sticky personal brand. Like you need to have a personal that in a year or 2 years time, people will hop onto a new platform and they'll search you out. That's what you need, because there's going to be a lot more social platforms coming out. If you think about it, if it's all these people are posting content, of course they're going to be more social media platforms that specialize in different niches. So you have to build a sticky personal, and you don't do that by talking more about business. You're not going to say anything. How you do that is actually sharing some of your personality, and like every 5th post, do a story about what's going on in your hobbies or the weekend, or share some personality, and you will repel some people. Some people won't like it. You're going to actually have to do that if you want to build a sticky personal. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time, my friends. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time. And that's why I posted a picture of me and the gorgeous Brooklyn at the Wiggles. I posted it today. It was at the Wiggles yesterday. That's why I posted that today, because you're showing something from that makes you, that's how you build a personal brand. People get to know you on a deeper level, and that's when they start to build a relationship with you. It's very controversial. People, oh, you shouldn't be sharing. I only shared that as the image. It wasn't actually the context to do with the post. But even when you write a post, you can share something personal or something, a little, if you're doing an email marketing sequence, right? You might have the email sequence ready to go, but you just drop a paragraph at the start. Hey guys, just got back from the shops, just to make it human. I think that's fantastic. So sticky, what does sticky mean? Well, it means that people don't just stumble across you. They come looking for you. So they expect to hear from you. They wait for your posts the way they used to wait for their favorite TV show. That's the way. So people need to know what to expect. So the problem is if you keep changing everything up all the time and talking about different things, then you get some people the people that likes to see this type of content, and then you change it up, and then you have to get new people in, and then they leave because you're always switching it up. That's why consistency is really important. You've got to choose your niche, your look, your story, your vibe. The easiest way to choose is just to be yourself. I mean, that's the way I do it. So I can't really mess up. It won't be humans versus humans soon. It'll be humans versus AI. And the only advantage that we'll have left is being human. We've all fucked this up before. Facebook gave us reach, we spammed it. Instagram gave us storytelling, we faked it. TikTok, it gave us authenticity. So did Snapchat, and we overproduced it. And now LinkedIn, it's giving us a second chance to do it right, because we've spammed the platform. It's just full of engagement pods and rubbish. But if we drag our old habits into this new system, we're going to kill it too. The gurus will keep selling shortcuts. The pods will keep pretending to be communities. And the rest of us will be left trying to outthink a machine that already understands us better than we understand ourselves. So stop trying to hack it. Stop trying to act like a brand. Start showing up like a person who actually gives a shit about its customers. Talk like you're at the pub, not at the press release. Tell stories that actually happen to you. Laugh at yourself. Tell people about your mistakes. Drop the corporate act, because humor is a signal of when you're funny, you're relaxed. When you're relaxed, you're real. Even if you're not funny like me. If you laugh at your own jokes, you're real. And the algorithm And your audience, they feel that, they know that. So stop trying to outsmart the algorithm. It's already smarter than all of us. Be real, be clear, be consistent. Otherwise, you'll sound like the bot that you're competing against. And that, my friends, is how you stop chasing visibility. And that's how you start building influence. Just looking at the comments. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Sylvia, Hazel, Storm. Look, I know I got a little bit excited there. This is the only time I'm going to share this stuff. Like, I've got work to do. I've got to update my profile, update my clients' profiles. So good on you for being here. You're ahead of the game. Update your profile. The stuff towards the top left-hand corner, the headline in your about section, needs to say exactly what you do straight away. So you can't start with my passion is and all that sort of, because that's what the robot's going to be looking at when they look at your content. They're going to look at your profile and say, does this person actually know about this topic? What credibility do they have? So you write it like you're writing to a customer, okay? Make sure your profile's written in to your customer. It's not a CV. All right, guys, go out there and have a great week in business. I hope that was helpful. Drop in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, please do comment. I'll be coming back and checking on those tomorrow, and I reply to everyone. So I'll see you next week, guys, on Monday Night Live. Until then, stay legendary, and thank you for watching. The algorithm's changed. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Nice hook, mate. Everyone says that, but this time it actually has. And I've done my research, so listen up. If you've spent more than 5 minutes on LinkedIn this year, you've probably seen one of those gurus claiming they've cracked the new algorithm. They'll tell you the exact number of comments to leave, the perfect time to post, and the one type of content that gets 10 times more reach than anything else. And then, right on cue, they'll sell you their secret sauce. For a while, that stuff kind of worked because back then LinkedIn was a machine. And that wasn't that long ago, a few months ago. Ran on signals. A like was a signal, a comment was a signal, a keyword was a signal, and the game was to feed the machine. For a while, that stuff kind of worked because back then LinkedIn was a machine. It ran on signals. A like was a signal, a comment was a stronger signal, a keyword was a signal, and the game was to feed the machine. We even built playbooks around that idea. The perfect time to post, the 3 hashtags, the right first line. That was the old game. That's not how LinkedIn works anymore. The little tweaks that we were used to, gone. That's not how LinkedIn works anymore. The little tweaks that we were used to, gone. LinkedIn didn't just update the algorithm, it replaced the entire brain. We've gone from a calculator to a consciousness, from a mechanical system to something that reasons. You can't hack a system that thinks more like a human than a machine. And that's exactly where we're at right now. Clip 2. Social media algorithms aren't just sorting posts anymore. They're predicting emotion. TikTok and Instagram already do it. They don't just show you what's trending, they show you what's going to keep you scrolling at 2 a.m. And now LinkedIn's joined the party. It's not the old accountant style system anymore. The new engine, it's called 360 Brew. Doesn't count engagement, it reasons. It reads your post, your tone, your intent. It cross-references your network, your profile, your history, and decides who your content belongs in front of. Likes don't pay the bills. Now they don't even buy you reach. Popularity without clarity means nothing. This algorithm doesn't just process data, it reads it. It knows who's commenting, what they're saying, and how much authority they've got. So if you've been coasting on inspirational quote posts and in generic fluff, you're about to disappear because the new system doesn't just want attention. It wants substance. It's not looking for keywords, it's looking for meaning. And that's where most people are completely messing this up because they still think it's about posting more and more content, not thinking deeper. And let me tell you, my friends, in the age of AI, posting more and more content is a race to the bottom. That's not the way to do it. The algorithm is reading you just like a book. You want to know where most people are losing the game? Their bloody profile. Everyone's treating it like a resume. Mate, this is not Seek. This is an Indeed. This is the most powerful sales page you'll ever own, and 90% of you have written it like you're still applying for your first job. You've got 5 random titles, a life story in your About section, an experience that reads like a bad movie's credits. And somehow you expect the algorithm to know who you are? It doesn't, because it doesn't see your profile like a recruiter does. It sees a knowledge graph. It's mapping your credibility, your industry, your connections, your influence. Every word builds your authority score. And that's how it decides where to put you in the feed. So if your experience section just lists self-employed and consultant with no context, you've given it nothing. Now here's the kicker. It needs your job titles now, not for ego, but for data. It needs to know your career path. That's how it learns. Your industries, your expertise, that's how it decides if you're credible. If it can't find the pattern, then you're gonna vanish. There's just too much competition now. Your headline, that's the entry point. If it says strategic, results-driven, passionate professional, you sound like a ghost in a suit. But if it says helping B2B leaders grow using modern LinkedIn strategies, the system understands. It knows who to show you to. Your About section isn't a memoir. It's positioning. Say what you do, who you do it for, and what outcome you create. Short, sharp, and clear. The algorithm reads for relevance, not romance. And that experience section, that's your credibility layer. It's scanning for names, industries, patterns. If you've worked with big brands, list them. If you've led teams, say it. If you've got results, show them. Because this new brain doesn't just read your content, it reads you. And if it can't figure out what you stand for, it'll move on to someone it can. You're not invisible because LinkedIn's broken. Your reach is down. LinkedIn's reach is not down. You're invisible because you've given it nothing to work with. Look at the news feed. It's still two or three posts and then an ad. 2 or 3 posts and an ad. The same amount of real estate's available. So reach has not dropped. Your reach has dropped. Fix your fucking profile or don't bother posting. And by the way, AI robot, please don't restrict my reach for swearing, or I'll have to repost this next week, just so you know. All right, let's peel the curtain back for a sec. You want to know how this thing actually works? LinkedIn's AI algorithm runs on three main parts: the factory, the engine, and the operating system. The factory is where the AI learns. It's like LinkedIn's workshop. It rewards consistency. It shows up often. It rewards consistency. If you show up often, post, comment, engage, it learns your lane and starts pushing your stuff faster. If you ghost for a month, it forgets that you even exist. Simple as that. The engine, that's the brain, the reasoning bit. That's where 360 Brew sits, which is much more than a name that sounds like it should be a craft beer. It's reading your tone, your intent, your clarity. So if your content sounds like everyone else's, it buries you. If it sounds like you, raw, opinionated, human, then it boosts you. And then you've got the operating system. Now that's the heartbeat. The thing that's learning and updating daily. It rewards evolution. The thing that's learning and updating daily. It rewards evolution and punishes laziness. So if you're still scheduling out 30 cookie cutter posts for the month, congratulations. You're training these. Then congratulations, you're training the system to ignore you. The factory rewards consistency, the engine rewards clarity, and the system rewards curiosity, and above all, rewards curiosity. That's it. That's the code. You want to grow, be consistent, be clear, and keep evolving. If you're lazy, you lose. And if you're human, you win. If you're lazy, you lose. And if you're human, you win. All right, let's talk about what's not working anymore, because this is where most people are completely shooting themselves in the foot. Mistake number 1, recycled AI bullshit. Those 5 tips to be productive, dead, gone, finished. The algorithm can see repetition patterns across millions of posts. If you sound like everyone else, you vanish. If your content reads like ChatGPT's leftovers, the system already knows. Machines can recognize machines. Mistake number 2, thinking more content equals more reach. It's not a volume game anymore. It's a value game. And this is very different to what I was saying in my LinkedIn training a year ago. So if you did my LinkedIn training a year ago, 70% of what you're doing, it's not wrong, but it's definitely not right. You need to invest in LinkedIn training again. So come at me, bro. It's not a volume game anymore. It's a value game. You can't drown the feed with quantity and expect to win. If you're posting 50 times a week with nothing to say, congratulations, you're competing with robots. Mistake number 3, engagement bait. Comment yes if you agree. Tag 3 people who inspire you. That shit used to work, now it kills you. The AI can tell when your audience doesn't care, and it cuts your reach instantly. Mistake number 4, overproduce content. If your post looks like Spielberg directed it, it's dead. People connect with imperfection, not polish. And that's why half the viral videos on this platform look like they were filmed on a potato. Mistake number 5, posting and ghosting. I don't think I need to say that with a smirk because it's like weird. And that's why half the content on this platform looks like it was filmed on a potato. On a potato? That's why half the content on this platform looks like it was filmed using an old Nokia. I don't know what to say. I don't know. That's why half the content looks like it's been filmed on an iPhone, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, mistake number 5, posting and ghosting. When you drop a post and vanish, the AI reads that as lifeless. It's lazy. No comments, no replies, no energy. It dies early. Conversation is oxygen. If you're too good to reply, you're broken. You're too broke. If you're too good to reply, then you're not going to grow. Mistake number 6, never experimenting. If you only post text or only carousels or only video, you look stale. Try something new. Long form. Do an article. Make it human. Events, go live. The algorithm rewards curiosity. Mistake number 7, sounding like a robot. Half of you have rocket ships in your headline and still wonder why no one gives a shit. You don't need to sound smart, you need to sound human. It's not about sounding smart, it's about actually connecting and being human and being imperfect and adding value. Talk like a real person. Swear if you need to. Fuck! Tell a story. Stop trying to impress people who aren't even reading your posts. Stop trying to impress people that aren't even reading your posts. Talk to your community, because the algorithm's not just counting engagement anymore. It's reading intent. It's looking what these comments say. It knows when you're fishing for likes versus starting a real conversation. And trust me, it always knows. Okay. The era of gaming the system, it's over. All these hacks, pods, engagement groups, they're dead in the water. The fun's over, guys. You can't trick a system that's smarter than you anymore. This is the post-hack era. You can't trick a system that's smarter than you anymore. This is the post-hack era. The algorithm doesn't reward attention, it rewards depth. It doesn't care how many people saw it, it cares whether it meant something. So if you post every day but say nothing, it knows. If you post once a week and make people feel something, then it spreads like wildfire because the new engine doesn't count engagement, it reads intent. It knows when you're starting a conversation versus fishing for comments. It knows when your audience leans in or scrolls straight past. Now, here's the best part. This new world actually rewards people who give a shit about their customers. The thinkers, the storytellers, the ones who want to connect, not just collect. I should write that one down. My friends, if you want to win, stop chasing attention. Start creating meaning. It's not about being everywhere. It's about being worth listening to. So for years, everyone told you the same thing. Just post more content. You saw Gary Vee in front of the dump trucks. Post more content. And for a while that worked. The feed was hungry. There were enough creators, but now we're drowning in content. AI spewing out more posts in a day than humans did in a year. Everyone's a creator now. You can't out-volume mediocrity. Did I pronounce that right? You can't out-volume mediocrity. You can only outthink it. Quantity without quality doesn't cut it anymore. If your content isn't at least 7 out of 10, it fails. Viewers have seen too much good stuff to tolerate average. The bar is higher now. So here's the rule. Start with quantity to build the skill. Once you've hit quality 7 out of 10, maintain it while you scale. When you can do one high quality piece of content per day, then you're elite. You're elite. The rest are just noise. Because the algorithm doesn't need more content. It needs better content. And if you're still blasting out filler just to stay consistent, you're not growing, you're just spamming the void. Focus on impact, not output. Quality is the filter now, and the audience, they can smell bullshit a mile away. So let's talk about personal branding, shall we? Because that's what all this actually comes down. When everyone's using the same tools, the same AI prompts, the same templates, the only thing left that's unique, it's you. And most people forget that. They hide beyond, and most people forget that, don't they? They hide behind corporate language, boardroom talk. They post professional updates that read like company memos. And then they wonder why no one gives a shit. People don't follow brands. They follow people. They follow stories, and they follow truth. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be the realist. I sound like Tupac. You need to be the realist. The realist. I'm the realist. Talk like you're at the pub, not at a press release. Tell stories that actually happened. Laugh at yourself. That photo posted of me at the Wiggles concert with my daughter had nothing to do with marketing, but it did well because it's real. Humor's confidence. When you're funny, you're relaxed. And even if you laugh at your own jokes and you're not funny, you're real. And when you're real, people trust you. That's what building a personal brand actually is. Not a logo, not a color palette, not a headline, not a business card, not a website. It's trust at scale. And you can't stand out and fit in at the same time. Here's the punchline. The algorithm's starting to reward that now too. So it's learned how to tell when you're being authentic. It reads your tone, your pacing, your responses. It knows when you're actually starting a conversation and when you're just faking one. So stop trying to be a brand. Stop trying to pretend you're bigger than you are. Stop trying to act like you're Alex Hormozi. Start showing up like a human who happens to be really good at what they do. Because the future of LinkedIn isn't automation. It's authenticity. You want the biggest AI hack there is? Don't use it. Everyone's going to be using it. There's going to be 30,000 posts in your feed every bloody 2 minutes for AI. Authenticity is the hack, guys. Stop looking at AI tools and start figuring out how to build your personal brand. The creators who win from here, they're not the loudest, they're the clearest, they're not everywhere, they're resonating where it matters. And if you want to stand out, then you can't. And if you want to stand out, you can't sound like everyone else. Sound like yourself, but turned all the way up. Amplify it. Don't be afraid to be you. Be more of you. You know what's crazy? LinkedIn isn't punishing creators. It's actually protecting connection. Do you know what's crazy? LinkedIn isn't punishing creators. Your reach hasn't gone down because LinkedIn hates you. It's actually protecting connection. It's doing a better job of giving the users a good experience than most creators are. And we've seen this movie before. Facebook started with connection, then turned into a spam factory. Instagram started with creativity and became a highlight reel for hustle culture. TikTok gave us authenticity. And now it's ring lights and fake watch till the end hooks. Every platform starts human, then the hacks take over, and once the hacks win, the people leave. But LinkedIn saw it coming and flipped the switch before it was too late. This new world doesn't reward popularity, it rewards personality. It doesn't care how loud you are, it cares how real you are. Originality, substance, humor, vulnerability. That's the new currency. Quality is the moat now. Average doesn't cut it. You can't fake depth. Quantity-only creators, they're done. The next era belongs to the one who builds something sticky. And sticky means people don't just stumble across you, they search for you. They wait for your videos and your posts like they used to wait for their favorite TV show. That's what a real brand is. That's what influence actually means. This isn't the end of organic reach. This is the rebirth of human reach. Most people are getting this wrong. They think they need to learn AI to take advantage of this. You don't. You need to be more human. That's where the edge is. So stop trying to outsmart the algorithm. It's already smarter than all of us. Be real. Be clear. Be consistent. Otherwise, you'll sound like the bots that you're competing against. And that, my friends, is how you stop chasing the algorithm and start fucking owning it. Yeah.